All right. So, week one, module one, digital tech, spring virtual. So, as promised, I'm going to do my best to keep these videos as concise as possible. What I'm going to do is keep all the most pertinent information for completing the assignments towards the beginning. Um, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a quick walkthrough of, or just a mention on the reading, and then I'm going to go into the fit potential assignment. And then I'm going to talk a little bit about the resources for Fit Potential. And then I'm going to do a little walkthrough of the additional resources down here. Okay, so again, we're actually kind of going in order of less importance, and if you're looking at it in terms of completing the assignments. Okay, so the first thing is the reading number one, the jobs to be done. This is on jobs theory, and the analogy that I love to use for jobs theory is the idea of, well, what we're focused on with jobs theory is the idea of what is the actual phenomena of the job to be done. And job means task. So we're using the word task, job, to mean like a task or something we need to do. Like, for example, a task might be to write a paper, or to fly a plane, or to nail a hammer, or nail a nail into the wall. Okay, so let's use that one. If the objective is to put a nail in the wall, there's a lot of options out there to hypothetically do this, right? A really great option is a hammer, right? And imagine a hammer has been around for a very long time, for hundreds and maybe thousands of years. You know, if you think of what a hammer in antiquity might look like, right? It was a long time before we had the ability to have a nail gun, right? And it took rethinking the phenomena a little bit. Not rethinking the phenomena, but looking at what is the job to be done. We want to put the nail in the wall. What is the most effective way to do that? Are there more effective ways of doing that? And there's more effective nail guns than others. Like if we want to line it up with precision, right? It might require a slightly different tool. So really the idea of the jobs to be done, it reflects on the digital tools as we use, because we don't want to be bound too much by like our website's going to look a certain way because we're using this specific tool, or our whatever our app that we're building is going to look a certain way because we're using a specific tool. We want to be more, what are we trying to do? And then look for tools out there, right? And look for the best tool. What's the most optimal tool? Try different tools. Test. Some are good. Some will be perfect for this, and others would be perfect for that, right? So the idea is being focused, separating the tools that we use and the jobs that we need done, right? So that's a really wonderful reading. Now for the Fit Potential assignment, I'll just mention this because it's here. The video introduction assignment, when you click into it, there's a quick video in there as well on how to do that one. So Fit Potential, this is going to be due on the Sunday night. So this is a thought exercise assignment. There's two very important things that we need to do regarding using the Google Sheets to do this. And the first thing is, when I click in it, I am on view only, so I can't actually edit anything. So the first thing that you need to do is click File, make a copy, and then entire presentation. And that's going to go Fit Potential assignment. You can name it here. You can put your last name. Chevy. Oh, spelled that wrong. Okay, make a copy. Okay. So that's the first thing you got to do. And then the last thing that's also equally important is when you copy the link, you need to make sure you click into this and make sure right here, only people with access can open with the link. We have to make it anyone with link. Okay, this is very important. I don't know that I necessarily need to make the rule that if you submit it and I can't open it because it's restricted, that it is a 0. But that is how other professors do it in other courses. If the submission comes in and it's anyone and it's restricted, then it's just immediately a 0. in past class like to give like a chance, to like submit it, but to resubmit it, but just be very sure, because I will have to implement that, because it is required. I can't see it otherwise, right? So it's pretty simple. We just got to make sure we remember to do that, and pretty soon it becomes, you'll just not even think about it. You'll do it. The issue is that Google gives the default as private, and so you have to always make sure you go in and change it. Okay. All right. So how this assignment works is you have areas, you list your areas of interest. So what are the things that interest you? And for here, we really just do 3. Okay. And so for me, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do AI. Because I mentioned it before, piano. And I'm going to mention entrepreneurship. Okay. Oops. Yeah, there you go. Okay. And then of those 3, list 3 or 4 problems for each one. So ultimately 10 problems. So for AI, I might think like people don't understand how to create good prompts. Okay. And then I might list 2 or 3 for AI, and then piano, I might be moving pianos is expensive is not a good problem. Requires many resources. Requires many resources. Those aren't really great problems necessarily, but you might start to think about what are the problems and in specifically that affect you. And a quick point on problems too is when you think of these problems, you want to think of problems that the best problems, you want to think of problems that would be problems that people would pay you to fix, right? If we're trying to start a business, problems that people would be like, you have a solution for that? Oh, I will pay you right now today, top dollar, for that solution, because this is a major problem for me. This is a migraine problem. I think about it all the time. And so those are the types of problems that we really want to solve. Okay. So going to the next, so then we have lined up all our 10 problems, right? So we line up 10 problems, and then the final step is we look at this quadrant. So I'm going to go ahead and first I'll just remove these just so they're, whatever. Let's put that back so that we can show. So you have here fit and potential. So a high fit means that it is something that just really resonates with you. It's something that maybe you have a lot of experience with. It's something that you feel that you personally have an ability to create a solution to, right? That to a problem that you feel uniquely qualified to solve, right? Or at the very least, uniquely interested in solving. Okay, and so if that is high, if you feel very passionate about it, then it would be higher on this side, right? So how do we move from over here to over here, right? Potential. So potential is a little bit more uncertain. We don't necessarily know this as much. The question is this a problem for other people? Is there a market for this? Would this be, bottom line, a viable business, right? Would solving this problem be able to create a viable business? And so that takes some consideration and some thinking. Not necessary for this assignment, but ultimately to discover the real answers there, it would require research and perhaps surveying potential customers, right? 100 people surveyed and the people said, right? That type of approach would be optimal. Okay, but not required here. What is just required is your thinking. If your best guess, if this is a problem that looks like it has a high likelihood of success, if brought to market, right? So a high fit, high potential would be those ones that you'd want to solve for sure. So the problem that you choose to work on does not necessarily have to be the highest fit, highest potential. It could in fact be the lowest fit, lowest potential. I would think that it would probably be the highest fit because probably it's the one that you're most passionate about. Or maybe it's a low fit, but it's a real high potential. And if that's the case, that could be wonderful too, because then perhaps we can increase that level of fitness because of the resources at FGCU. So really cool. All right, so that, and then you see your problem here. You click share, you click anyone with link, you click done. You can, well, at that point, you click copy link here, you go back into here, start assignment, and you paste it right there. That is how we complete the fit potential assignment, okay? Now for the rest of this video, oops, not leave site. For the rest of this, oops, yeah, I actually do want to leave, cancel. So for the rest of this video, I'm going to talk about what we have below here. And that is, again, actually, I'm sorry. Real quick, there's one other thing on fit potential. If as you are doing the ideation part, when you're here, when you are maybe not, when you're past this is one you do from yourself. And then when you're in the problems and section, you're trying to ideate about the problems in the, trying to ideate about problems in that field or in that area, you could use this, which was developed by Professor Bull. And it is designed to help with finding problems. So you start brainstorming session, and the first thing it's going to ask you is for those areas of interest. It gives you examples of areas to inspire you. You can list your 3 here, and they will begin to help you ideate about those 10 problems, which is really wonderful as well. And this is also, if you haven't created your ChatGPT account yet, be sure to do that, and you can find the link to the Fit Potential tutor here, okay? The Fit Potential slides are just identical to the slideshow that you submit. They're just also down here, okay? So the tech tools intro. So this is where it just is, even though we're online and not in person, it still feels that, we are deserving of all this information. So definitely, go through and, look at these slides yourself, but in this video, I'll talk through this. So some of the, applications we're going to use are here. In fact, we used every single one of these last semester. Every single one. Not necessarily for everyone for like an assignment, but we'd compare them to each other. In the past, this class would be like, by the end of it, you'd try to complete like one website, and that would be an A, if you had like one. In the class last semester, they created over half a dozen. Everybody did. Everyone had over half a dozen websites. Why? Because once you create one, it's very easy to begin to create more. And there's this famous saying, it's essentially, once you know the way broadly, you can see it in all things. So the idea being is like, once you've mastered Bubble, Webflow becomes a piece of cake, and Squarespace becomes a piece of cake. Once you've mastered Wix, Card becomes a piece of cake, right? On and on, compared to starting from scratch. So once you know the way broadly, you can see it in all things. Same thing here. We will use all of pretty much, like Grammarly and stuff you might be familiar with. I am an advocate of Upwork and Fiverr. This is a great place to connect entrepreneurs all over the world, to solve different problems, not problems, well, yes, problems, but tasks, jobs theory. If I have a job I need completed, well, there might just be an individual on Upwork or Fiverr that has a specialty in completing that and might do it for a very low cost. Sometimes, like, I'm talking $50, $60 for like one task on a website or something like that, or maybe a couple tasks even. And then Canva, of course, we will use Canva quite a lot in this class. Okay. Data analytics, of course, the Google Analytics survey, or Google Analytics certification that we'll all do. Google Sheets we'll use quite a bit. And we didn't actually use the other ones here. Of course, the Google Analytics certification is our big one there. But these are also out there. Zapier, Airtable are very popular for analytics and data collection. Mighty Networks, we're all going to create Mighty Networks. If you aren't familiar with that, it's similar to Discord. If you aren't familiar to that, it's similar to like forums online about different topics and businesses and so on. We'll talk a little bit about social media and Meta. We don't get too much into ads in this course, but we will definitely be talking about them a little bit. Okay. E-commerce shop, we will use Teespring at one point, which is, these are like your print on demand services. The idea being that you don't have to actually ever take the inventory and have it like at home. When a customer purchases your t-shirt or your hat, they'll print it right there. Amazon does this too with some products and which is a really great way to go. Feedback forms and surveys. More and more, the website builders offer the ability to create like surveys like within the websites, and these get used less than they used to. But definitely, the idea of feedback forms and surveys is hugely important in product development, no doubt. Okay, CRM, customer relationship management, ConvertKit, SendGrid, Mailchimp. We will focus on ConvertKit in this course. I use SendGrid personally, but ConvertKit is what we'll use here. There's a few reasons why. And we'll also go into a later assignment is like comparing and contrasting all of these different tools for e-commerce, CRM, feedback, all these different tools. We'll compare and contrast them, including their prices and what their features. Okay, and prototyping. Marvel, Figma, Fusion. We'll actually kind of use Canva to prototype. We're going to at one point create a website like kind of blueprint in Canva, and then we take that blueprint, and that's how we're able to create the website so quickly, because we have this blueprint, and then we'll go into these other tools, and we're just kind of recreate what we created in Canva, but reimagined in Bubble, or not in Bubble, we won't do Bubble, but reimagined in Card, and reimagined in Landing.AI, and reimagined in Wix even. There will be some assignments including that too, so be looking ahead, very exciting. And some of the newer and really fun ones, Cloud, Midjourney, ChatGPT, of course. So we'll use OpenAI, which is ChatGPT, quite a bit in this course. Okay, so that's the tech tools intro. How to write effective prompts. Like I mentioned before, you could maybe in the future we'll call this class like prompt engineering, but the idea being that the more information that you provide to ChatGPT, the better response, the better detail it's going to be able to give you. There's this great analogy of the idea of like, rather than it being like you're over here and ChatGPT is over here and you're just yelling, like do this for me, do that for me. It's like, no, you're actually kind of going on this journey together. And the more information that you're able to give it, the more it's able to help you. And so what we like to kind of use the idea of treating like the ChatGPT like your co-founder. You know, if you think like Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak, Steve Jobs had the entrepreneurial brain and all the vision that, you know, that there could be, and Steve Wozniak had all the brains, and he was the tech founder, right? And he was able to actually wire it and make it all together. Well, you know, maybe, you know, the ChatGPT can be the Wozniak to your Jobs, right? And how amazing is that for all the entrepreneurs of today? But read through this. You know, ChatGPT, a powerful AI language model. I think we will be able to talk more a little bit. I think I will add some more videos just for fun about ChatGPT and large language models and neural networks and how they all work, because I do like to, you know, that's maybe the extra. That's if you want to dive in further. But yeah, so read all this for sure. 3 key, but the important parts of effective prompts, and again, I mentioned the idea of like prompt engineering being Clarity, specificity, and open-endedness. So you want to, here's start with a clear goal in mind, hands-on activity, prompt, goal for each scenario or topic. Well, the thing is if you're a college entrepreneurship student working on an assignment, tell it that. Don't just be, it'd be treating like, when you do a Google search, you'd be like, you're doing research on the African pancake tortoise. Okay, you'd be like, African pancake tortoise is all you're going to type in on Google, right? And you're going to find Wikipedia, and then you're going to start clicking through it. But imagine how you treat ChatGPT is you'd be like, I am writing a paper with these specific kind of research points, and I want to know this specific detail and that specific detail about the African pancake tortoise. I'm writing it for this type of class. You're going to begin to much more quickly get a lot more better detail that is tailored much more quickly, because you could think of it like it's doing the Google searching for you, right? Instead of you taking the minutes and hours to find all that information, it's doing it in seconds, right? Okay, but adding that information is gonna make it better, and certainly when we get into like teaching ChatGPT about your business, this is what they call like training. When you're training the AI, that is you giving it more and more information. Like, I want my business, I want you to become understanding this business, so I'm going to be giving you spreadsheets, and I'm going even maybe, but I'm going to be just feeding information about it, multiple prompts, just you giving information until it, is able to kind of speak to you at your level about how, in terms of it knows it, now it kind of has all the information that you had, right? So you want to give it the information so it's able to help you. Okay, and again, also start with a clear goal in mind. Again, that idea, with this is happening, you're the leader, right? You're the leader, so it can't, so you're the leader. Of course, you can ask it to be like, we're going to go in this, anyway, you're the leader, right? Experiment with different phrases or approaches. That's always important. It also remembers information past threads. So if there's a conversation that you had information that you kind of inputted wrong or you didn't like, you want to delete it because it will remember everything. Now, that didn't used to be the case, but it is now. Okay. So again, you can think of these for craft a prompt that clearly. So like, imagine if you climate change. You need ideas for an essay on the impact of climate change on agriculture. Rather than just being like impact of climate change on agriculture, you'd be like, for this level of research, I am at junior level in this class doing a research on climate change. Specifically the impacts on agriculture. You could be like, give it to me by year, by decade, give me a chart, give me a graph, rather than just being like, what are you going to give her? Like, what is it that you need from at the beginning, right? Like, from that start point. Okay. Ooh, this is great. You are struggling to balance your academic workload and social life, and you need tips to manage your time more efficiently. The real obvious one here is you're going to be like, okay, I have to go to school. I have a job after school. I work these hours. These are the times I'm at school. These are the times I'm at my job. These are the times I'm trying to carve out for social life. This is that. You put your whole schedule in, and then now that you have all that information in there, now it's able to start to work with it and give you suggestions and give you like a schedule. Okay, so that's a little intro into how to write effective prompts, aka prompt engineering. Okay, and here's so I think Google helps you find read through this. This is actually just kind of a conversation. I'll just let you read through this. But the point of it kind of being is, imagine if you were a college student in 1970 and you were tasked with writing an essay. You would be bound, what would you do? You'd go to the library and you would spend hours looking for a book books, and then you would spend hours looking through those books to get the information to write your essay, right? To do your research. That's the research process, right? But you're limited significantly by two things. First of all, the books in the library, but secondly, and perhaps even more importantly, is the time that it takes for you to find the information. Fast forward 30, 40 years to where we're using Google to do research, and we've gone from hours in the library, hours in the books, to minutes clicking through, or minutes and hours, right? From hours and days to minutes and hours clicking through websites to find the information. Fast forward to 2025, and now we're talking about seconds to do high-level research with ChatGPT and pull up information. Give me incidents of entrepreneurs using A/B testing with digital tools to create revenue. Give 10 instances of that. So that would probably take a good little chunk of time to find that on Google and to write it out all nicely, but ChatGPT give it to us pretty quickly. Okay, so I am still trying to keep these videos on the short side, but I did want to give a little bit of a lecture there for this information because it really is fundamental to this course. So I think I will be adding more videos in there. I think there's going to be some kind of level of like importance where, like I said at the very beginning of this video, all the most important information was at the very beginning. So I would think of it that way. So great. That is week one. If you have any questions or thoughts at all, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. I hope to be a resource as much as I can to you and your ventures. Wings up, go Eagles.